Hello guys, welcome to the 13th episode of Lumion 10 tutorial. A scene that you're seeing here right now is one of the conceptual projects that we've represented a while ago as a concept for a project. And the thing that is here is for interior design. We want to use this scene and use it for training. Most of the objects are import from 3D Max. We want to review lighting here, and we want to see how we should do the setting for interior design. So anything that as a lighting is inside this area, we will remove it so we can repeat all of the process together. So the thing that we want to do here is that we want to get a render from this part of the restaurant. Most of the lights that you can see here are massive and internal, which means they are inside the wall. So we place a light in the middle of all of them. We can change the size a little bit so it fits our project. And a couple of that we have here, we won't use light for all of them, but we'll place light for one or two, like that. On our stairs, I've placed some light, which I want to explain some now. Use area light here, place it there. Select rotation, rotate it to top, 0 degrees, so it's vertical. If you have problem rotating it, you can hold shift and do it slowly. Because the scene is all heavy, maybe it will create a little problem. And turn it around so it faces our stairs. 90 degree. Like that. So the thing that we will do here now is, from this side, we will reduce the length and the width of the light so it matches our stairs. And from this part, I will click on so we can see the source of the light. I will hold Alt and I will copy for each stair. So pay attention to each detail, and it's really important how to place and copy them. And as you can see, when we place this, you can move it horizontally and place it on the next step. Again, we select it, and we can even do a couple of them, one after the other one. We can press Ctrl and move it inside horizontally. And I can select all of them together so we can do it faster. Hold Ctrl, move free, and with Alt, they will all move together. Let's move them a little higher. So the size is correct. And as you can see, we have it almost to the top, and we don't need to do it for the lasers there. And if we need to have some spotlight, you can use some of these lights as well. If you click on these lights, you can change the focus of the light. And determine the quality of the shadow. We can place it on high or dynamic to get a better result. So in here we don't have any specific light, and let's move to our render. We use photo. So pay attention, we have a render set here. So when you have a render set here, you can render all of them with photo set together. Let's create a new set, and you can make a set from each tab. Create a new set without any effect. Let's set our angle from this part. There are times that you're rendering from a place and you want to create a vertical render. And in order to create a vertical render, you need to do something special. Inside Lumion, you cannot choose the frame of the camera, but we have an option called handheld camera, which in animation topic we'll talk about it more. One option that you have here is tilt, which makes the angle vertical. But be careful that it's a little hard to control your camera from this part, because you cannot recognize the angles very well. This is one way that you can do it. The other one is that you can just get your render and use crop for it. Just crop this part. So if I want to get a vertical render, we zoom out a little bit, then we can crop it. Let's fix the angle so we have the top and bottom fixed and good. In camera we pressed 2-point perspective, so the vertical lines are happening completely vertical. I like to zoom in a little bit. The angles could be even like this. And at the same time, even though that I want to have here, I want to have the lighting on the ceiling. We could go back or use the same technique that I taught you guys before to have a better angle. Let's move to this side a little bit. We get the shot with a low angle. Let's go to handheld camera. And remember, when you enter this part, you can change your focal length. We change the zoom. We go inside and we use tilt to get a very completely vertical shot. For the top lighting is good, but I like to get some of this greenery and plants around it. I like to tilt it this way a little bit and move the camera towards this side. In camera, I'm holding the scroll and I'm moving left and right. So be careful that you need a specialty in order to move the camera in this mod. Later on, we can crop the unnecessary parts from the bottom. Let's check the angle to see if it's good. Well, I think we need to see more of the area back there. One of the important things in rendering is having a good angle for the render. Which having a good angle will have a dramatic effect on the quality of the render that you will get. So we get this angle, but I will not hold my hopes high for this one. To be honest, I prefer to use the previous one in order to get a shot from this render. We go to Advanced, and we select Interior, to see what we can have. Let's have a test. Our area is very bright. We can use exposure to reduce the intensity of the light and reduce the brightness of your area. This could be a good light. We can even reduce it furthermore. Let's test it to see how it will turn out. And as you can see, at the end of the hallway, it's completely dark. So let's increase the exposure a little bit. And in general, another really good one that we always activated, kinda, is depth of field. We put depth of field on this table. We press OK. Let's activate autofocus. And we blur before and after in our background and in our foreground. Look at the background that it's blurred now. We can increase the sharp area so we can see table more. We can even blur our background more, like that. So we blurred it so much that it's not messing with our shot. I have a little problem with this angle, but again, we'll get another render from this. Let's activate reflection and give some reflection on the ground. So pay attention. If you want your floor to have enough light and good amount of reflection, you need to add light and reflection when you are designing your material. So very easy, we're gonna do it in material. Well, to be honest, I want to change the material of the floor as well. Well, let's click on the material, and from stone, let's open the second page, and I can use this wash concrete. Let's increase the amount of reflection. So we have a shiny floor. Let's increase displacement a little bit. So we have a better depth to the floor. Let's save it, go back to photo and inside our render. So, and as you can see, our reflection is set on high. We can even activate speed ray, go back. Let's get a render test. I prefer to add some close to the floor a little bit. There are two things. The first one is to make the floor a little darker, and the second one is to increase the amount of reflection and gloss. To see the reflection of the roof, of the ceiling, on the floor. Let's change the displacement a little bit. And in feathering, add a little silver light to it. And in colorize, let's make the color a little darker. Because the amount of objects that we've imported in this scene, controlling the environment is a little hard. You need to be patient. Let's get the first shot, and the second one we'll get it horizontally. We save it as 1080p. And as you can see, our render is ready now. And we can see it inside the picture. So if I load this render inside Photoshop, very easy, I can just provide a good crop. Now the size is pleasant. And with a very simple effect from camera raw filter, we can change the highlights, the amount of color, contrast. Increase the clarity a little bit. Reduce saturation. Increase vibrance a little bit. And in highlight, let's mess around to see which one is better for us. Let's select the light, or less, to see which one is better. Let's make it a little sharper. Reduce noise as well. And in colors, we'll reduce the noise as well. We can make the green, orange, and yellow to glow more, and even red. Change the saturation a little bit. even change the colors a little bit, ever so slightly. So you can see the image that is much better now. And in color filter, we can make the area warmer or colder. I think making it warmer gives us a pleasant result. Let's see before and after. The end result is acceptable. And again, let's get a render from this image horizontally. Let's turn the scene back and get a render from it horizontally. And as you can see, this scene, because the amount of objects that we have is extremely heavy. And it's true that we've even removed some of the objects, but that didn't even help. And the file of this scene is around 2.5 GB, which is a huge file for an architectural file. Let's go back a little bit and make it wider. This time we want to get a horizontal shot and then we can crop it, because I want to see more of these chairs and tables, and at the same time to capture ceiling and get a better view of our greenery. So I would like to get a wider shot. In FX, we could use camera and 2-point to make it completely vertical. This will remove our third point in perspective and it will give us a good angle. If you want to move a little slower in order to adjust it more carefully, you should hold the space. So we've captured the shot now. And to be honest, I want to even add more reflection on the ground, which is turning to a mirror-like floor. So it shows the reflection of the environment. I will add a little detail to the glows and reflection. Let's go back to our rendering. So pay attention. In this moment, I don't want to redo all of the settings altogether. Let's go back to the previous scene and click on this one. We press edit, copy effect, and inside this part, again, we go to edit and we paste the effect. And now we don't want to have handheld camera. Turn it off, and now it's like this. I don't think this angle is too bad, but let's zoom out a little bit. If you want to have depth of field, we can keep it or we can remove it. And pay attention, in real sky, you can even tilt the light a little bit. So you can have the light from outdoors inside the environment as well. But I think we've placed a lot of buildings around this build one, so I don't think that we can have too much natural light inside this scene. But let's just try it out. And as you can see, we don't have any light because the distance is too much from outdoors. And we have lots of buildings around this one. Let's click on this again, go back into rendering. Because we want to crop this one, we can even get a bigger scene, bigger render. But because this file is very heavy, I prefer not to do it for now, in order to get a good render. I will pause it and I will be back with you guys shortly. And as you can see, our render is completed now. It's interesting if you look at the left side, because we didn't place any light, the lighting is not very good. But if you look at the right side, the lighting is fairly decent. Let's open Photoshop. We open the file here. And very easy, we can crop the scene that we want. And from this part, the camera filter that we've used before, we will import it on this one as well. As you can see, we just got it on this one as well. I want to do something interesting. First, let's press Ctrl J and then use Camera Raw. Because there are a couple of options here. Is the amount of light on the table is too much and it's removing some of the details. So again, we're gonna activate Camera Raw Film this part. This time I will increase texture and details. And from here we'll increase 10. And here let's reduce the light a little bit. Keep the dark. Make more shadows. And from this part, we increase the amount of it. I want to show this wood a little more. And now, as you can see, table is much more visible now. And now let's mix these together. Let's max this upper layer. Unmask, we press Ctrl I. Pick up a white brush. We lower the size of the brush. We reduce the opacity and 10. And if I press this on any place, we can increase the amount of light there. So we're going to choose where we're going to have more light and where we're going to have less light. And now our table have much more detail. And this render could be much more reasonable render compared to the previous one. And we could use photo filter in order to make the environment warmer or colder. I rather to have it warmer with a lower density. We could have this end result. This one is quite nice. Control S and we save it inside our PC. And again, let's check these two angles to see which one is better. This is the first one and this is the second one. I think the second one got a better angle to it, and the light of the second one is better than the first one. And we could save more texture in the second one. I hope you enjoyed this session and you learned something, and I'm waiting for your practices. Be well.